Yep.
Right title?
Wait, I see another. Oh, so pivot to metals. Yeah.
I think we're good. All right. Thanks everyone for coming out to ETHVAN at Decontrol. We're here every Thursday, except next week we're going to be somewhere else. Talk about that in a second. Yes, I've been putting this on for a number of years. We're now at 4 years. Have we been doing this now? 3 and a bit?
3 and a bit.
Yeah. So it's been a epic journey that we've been doing here. So some new faces in the room here tonight. Thank you guys for coming out. Yeah, hope you had a good, be able to see the space a little bit and enjoy it. We are going to be winding down here by March 31st. This building will no longer be, we won't be able to use it anymore. It's going to be demolished. So we are going to be moving. So just want to say thank you guys for being able to come and hang out with us while this space is still here. Very long lasting and kind of an eclectic space. So we have got some plans about moving. We're working on that extensively quite often. Over the past few days here, we've been kind of seeing new buildings and new places. So inspiring stuff. We're going to keep this whole thing, keep this dream alive. So yeah, a little bit of an update there on the space and whatnot. Next week, we will be at maybe let's just hand it over. Here we go. Come into the daylight here.
Hello. Next week we have our
Over more. There we go. You just want to join? You want to join in? There we go.
Next week we have our monthly crypto happy hour. So this is happening just down the street over by the Steamworks Steam Clock, Gastown. A big mixer. Invite your friends. Food, drink catered. It's gonna be a great thing. We're trying to do this every month, right? Control, maybe transition to a new place, but we want to keep the energy alive. Every month, expect this kind of large mixer event. Tell your friends, tell your family, and then check all the socials. We'll be posting it very soon. Luma invite. Click on Luma. We'll post the invitation.
Bring your dancing shoes.
Have a DJ.
After party at Decontrol. Yeah.
You
Okay.
gotta want your dancing
All right.
shoes.
Bring your dancing shoes. So. Yeah, looking forward to that one. So if anybody's around and in town, come to that. Like I said, it'll be over at Global Relay, which is literally kitty corner of the Steam Clock. So if you're over there listening to it whistle and you're doing all that touristy things and taking a picture, then just come across and kitty corner, Global Relay comes and there's you can actually see the window. You can see kind of the event happening inside from the street. So yeah, come join there. So be some snacks and drinks and whatnot. I won't be here next week, but yes, be there or be square. Yes, something like that. We've got, I think Mondays, we're still doing open mic night. If people are around for that. Are you having a jam night sometime soon here too? Yep. Tuesdays, jam night.
Tuesday's jam night.
All right, Tuesday's jam night. So if you're looking to do some of those things, come on down. And then, yeah, we're starting to look for help and hands, I guess, kind of mid-March. If anybody is actively available with their body, mind, spirit, hands, whatever, to help move some stuff, we're going to need that, packing things up and whatnot. So any and all help appreciated. Please just reach out to us. Let us know if you can help in any capacity. All right, that's kind of it for housekeeping stuff. Anything I'm missing? Anybody else? Anything that we're to bring up, talk about? Good. Okay, sweet. We're going to talk about, is it time to pivot to metals tonight? Not sure how many people here, who here has been a part of this latest metals rush? You've been actively trading your bags into metals. Nobody, not a one. Nobody, really? Okay, so as you may or may not be aware, gold and silver. Is copper also at an all-time high? I don't know about copper, but definitely gold and silver, they hit like all-time highs. Yeah, gold hit 5K before ETH did. The sad times. And we also saw silver is now worth more than 1 Solana.
Well,
or is it still?
It's just
It's worth way more.
not So right
Right.
now, silver is 111,
And what's the soul?
and the soul is 113.
Ooh,
or
okay. So it flipped for a minute, or did it not? I thought
113.85. It did flip
for a
for
minute.
a
Okay.
minute, yeah.
Regardless, you can see kind of where we're at here. Is that we're seeing like metals go crazy, precious metals go crazy. Yeah, it's just been absolutely bonkers.
Copper did also hit a all-time
Okay.
high.
So metals are pumping. Peter Schiff was right. Is he coming?
He could. So.
Yeah. So we've got Eric. He's our first time joining the panel. Yeah. So here's yeah. Thanks.
I'm actually the resident trader.
Bring the mic up a little bit closer. Bring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the resident Bitcoiner that's infiltrating deep. And I also happen to know. Happy to.
Yeah. Amazing. So do you have any? Have you been trading gold or silver?
No, well, fortunately, a couple years ago, I got. I guess if we're gonna go full boomer with it here, back in 2020 when all the lockdown and the money print started, I was already into Bitcoin and crypto a little bit, but I got a lot more into Bitcoin because it was kind of obvious to me that there was immediate money printing going on, but also like here in Canada, I mean, a lot of that funding. You remember like those numbers coming from the tens of billions? We all lost count of all the numbers. It started to get ridiculous. So I kind of started getting into gold, silver, and Bitcoin around that time, more heavily. So actually, if you look at that time frame, which you might say is like I'm cherry picking, but that really is genuinely that since that time, like Bitcoin did go up a lot. It has out, right, since like the summer. So I think some of the story is you kind of have to see things before they happen if you really want to profit, right? Like today's probably not the day to get into gold. Like the time was like earlier. But also that like these time scales aren't going to be like cute. You know, like we like to and maybe we deserve this a little bit, the Bitcoiners, right? Because we were really dunking on Schiff and dunking on the boomers, where maybe we should have been a bit more humble. And now they're having their day to shine, but that's okay, right? Like I don't see as it fundamentally changing the value proposition for crypto in general. I just see we spiked earlier. Now they're having their. Let's hope we get our moment around.
If anything, it raises the ceiling for the valuation of other things, if it's actually sustainable. I have no idea if it is. Do commodities, you usually hold on to their gains like this when? I don't know if there's another,
Yeah, I mean, like again, we're going full boomer here. So I don't think any of us were alive in the
Comparative
70s, or nobody of us were going to admit we're alive in the 70s. But there was like a big boom and bust cycle, right? Like stagflation, 70s, and all the gold, silver, oil. Remember the whole oil crisis, right? Was it an oil crisis or was it a dollar crisis? All of a sudden, the Saudis don't want our dollar. You know, they don't want $5 a bottle. Now they want like $20 a barrel. Well, did the oil get more expensive, or did the dollar? So to answer your question, I think it's boom and bust.
Yeah, I think so too. They don't pop as sudden event.
We got a question. Should be on.
Hello. It's not a question. It's more of a statement, if that's okay. First of all, there's an interesting crypto channel. I recommend everybody look at it if they haven't already.
Is it Ivan on Tech?
No, not that guy.
Oh, not Ivan on
That
Tech.
guy's- he's not a
Okay.
big crypto channel.
Yeah.
No, this guy's name's Noah Seidman, Seidman, also known as Captain Rational. And like he's like the only person I've heard that seriously talks about like the connection between currency and money. There's a lot of, and then how it relates to crypto, and he really thinks of it from that macro and currency flow perspective. And he did an interesting exercise where he showed S&P and NASDAQ priced against gold and silver. If you look at the chart, a 6-month chart of the last year, the biggest collapse in value in the S&P and the NASDAQ in history. It makes like 2008 look like just like nothing. So I would hazard to guess that like you would see some mean reversion there, and we would have boom bust cycle, and it would flow back into other assets out of, because this is just like absolutely crazy. Like I swear to God, look at it, put SP or gold, SP silver, and you just be like, wow. So and then add in the fact that there's the dollar reaching a blow off top in 2022, now reaching the various long-term moving averages to the downside. Looks like it's just going to totally collapse over the next 10 to 15 years, and align that with Trump's policy on trying to have a weak dollar and bring manufacturing back to America. Sorry, I didn't mean to steal it.
No, it's boomer night, so you're supposed to go down tangents and forget what you were even talking about.
Proper boomer.
Do a boomer comment? Should I continue the boomer?
Keep it going. Let's go.
What do you got?
So I looked really intensely into a lot of gold and silver price manipulation circa 2010, that sort of thing. So I went very deep in that. I had one of my mentors was an economist in Washington State, Yakima, named Dick Eastman. He was a monetary historian, and he also taught at Texas A&M. Another fellow I corresponded with is Anthony Mickles, who has a phenomenal blog called Real Currencies. I'd highly recommend. And so what basically the short and long of it is, for the longest time, N.M. Rothschild in the city of London, which again is a sovereign enclave, it's not under British law, so it's kind of like a city-state. Some people call it the Vatican in the commercial world. The officers of N.M. Rothschild would sit around the table every morning from some of the major bullion banks, and they'd have a brief discussion as to what they were going to set the price of gold at for the day. So this was done around an actual table at N.M. Rothschild and Company. This was called the Gold Fix, London Gold Fix. And eventually this was exposed by some, I guess, independent journalists, that sort of thing. So basically the cover was blown that they were rigging the gold price every single day. And at the same time, JP Morgan and Company, JPMC, has been rigging the silver price. So there was a class action lawsuit by a group called GATA, Gold Antitrust Action Committee, whose principal is a fellow named Bill Murphy. So I was following some of the interviews he did circa 2010 or so, as I recall. And so basically, it's kind of like with the fractional reserve model, which evolved from the goldsmiths of London. So there's physical gold put into storage, and then the goldsmiths realized that they weren't really in much danger of a run of having everybody claim their physical gold. So they basically issued about, say, 10 times the number of receipts for the gold they had in circulation. The upside of that is it created a lot of purchasing power around, so there are a lot more instruments around, so it was really good for commerce. The downside, of course, was the risk of bank runs and that sort of thing when that model transitioned to a lot of banks. So that's basically what happened with what's called paper silver. So JP Morgan, HSBC was in charge of paper gold, which was highly leveraged, basically a fractional reserve fraud. And the paper silver was carried out by their counterparts in New York, JP Morgan. And JP Morgan himself was the main Rothschild agent in the United States, who was kind of pretending he was an independent sort of financier, but he was the main agent of N.M. Rothschild in the United States. So basically this class action lawsuit filed circa 2010 was designed to liberate basically gold and silver from this massive manipulation that was going on, to the order of, apparently the silver in stock is about 10% of what the contracts are for people who have bought silver in good faith and expect delivery. So when there is a rush like that, J.P. Morgan does everything possible to try to cover that short, to pretend that they really have it. So they're kind of buying on the sly as much as possible, so that the whole Ponzi scheme doesn't come crashing down. So what I see is gold and silver continuing to rise very, very steadily, and the Federal Reserve note, which is not a treasury dollar or anything like that, it's just a mafia currency, continuing to lose value on that. So I think Trump and company and the financial charlatans around him, such as Letnick and Besant and so on, and it doesn't matter if it would be the Democrats, it would be the same thing. They're going to be forced to do a revaluation of the currency. And the most recent article by Nichols on his blog is basically saying back in 2019 that the central bankers are going to go back to a gold standard because they've traditionally done between the two, between the fiat and the gold, and they end up stealing as much as possible every time they do a transition. So there we go.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So we're going back to a gold standard, but are we bullish on paper gold? Hey, paper gold.
No,
yeah.
Physical.
We're
Gold stock.
Oh,
gold,
wait.
Actual mining, legitimate mining stocks is a good place to go. But you want the physical. Everybody wants the physical.
because you got to take.
How much more of the issuance of the notes is there than the actual supply, assuming it's not really been audited or anything? Like how much did it outpace? Because maybe that sets the.
Bill Murphy was claiming it was about 100 to 1 in the silver.
Uh-oh.
In silver, what about gold? I thought it was like more closer to 10 to 1.
Yeah.
Is it higher? We don't.
I don't think we know the exact figures necessarily. They may be published somewhere, but I think they're probably obfuscated.
Jeez, if only there was like some sort of public ledger that could like keep track of this stuff and say like there's only a finite amount or something. I don't know. I mean, that sounds like a crazy idea.
It'll never
maybe.
catch
It'll
on.
never catch on. Yeah.
That's a Zoomer concept.
That's a zoomer. But yeah, the paper gold and paper silver, like that whole aspect is just like it's so fucked. Like,
So we kind of came to the conclusion earlier, or a little bit at least, that maybe this is toppy, and it all comes cascading down, as you were saying, right? At some point. So what could that event be if these federal, or if people are switching to gold reserves? Does it come down as much, or is that like a better store of value then? Or what could trigger that? I think maybe a bank run where it's like, oh, we don't have the gold for you anymore.
but doesn't that just create like more scarcity? Oh, we actually know that like this stuff. So now the paper becomes worthless, but the actual physical.
Yeah, that's
becomes
true.
worth more.
Yeah,
And
it
so
doesn't
the
necessarily make it
physical-
collapse.
The
yeah.
commentator was saying that they have to they cover it for as long as possible, so they're buying on another channel to
Yeah.
satisfy redemption, something like this.
Should just keep pumping. So gold is underpriced.
Well,
It depends.
or that's
It
or
depends.
that's priced in.
Depends on-
Somebody, if it, let's say everybody pivots away from gold, what is the next? Is it crypto? Is it ammunition? Is it like what's the? Because I had a conversation recently about how markets now are very pivoty. So every quarter it's something new, and it's all flowing out from one sector into the next sector. And you have to be very active as an investor right now. So like, let's say this quarter is gold. Let's say next quarter, oh, okay, we're done with that. Where is the smart money moving?
I think we need to take a poll of all the boomers and go with the most boring option that you hate. That's not that. I think we just need to figure that out. Obviously, we can't predict it, and it's not anything we like.
You don't think it's yield-bearing stablecoins?
Ooh.
I don't think those are allowed to exist right now.
No.
Yeah.
But I was going to sort of pivot maybe to Tether, because Tether right now is doing two interesting things with gold. One is they're buying it on their own balance sheet / the reserve for the Tether virtual dollar, and they're also issuing Tether gold. I believe the first of those two is probably the bigger one. I'm not certain on that, but I was reading something the other day that they're now one of the largest, if not the largest, private gold holder in the world. So that starts to like that to me starts to feel like the cyberpunk future we were imagining, right? Where it's not a government that is hoarding the gold; it's a private corporation, and then we all have to choose. Like, do we just trust Tether with the gold? They probably more willing to do an inspection of the bunker than the Fort Knox people are, right? Because they have to actually compete.
And then like with that too, then you're was it XAU or XAUT,
Yeah.
right? Like that's also audited. It's on chain. You can see how much is in there, and then that is just easy. It's like you know how much is in circulation, and you can say, all right, this is actually hitting our reserves. They go through and say, okay, do the reserves meet what's actually in circulation? Rather than, and if those numbers are off, well, pretty easy to audit in comparison as compared to like, oh, well, we think that there's some paper out here and we think that these people have issued here or there or whatever. Way more complicated to try and track down how much paper issuance has happened or even, paper plus physical plus it's just a mess. So maybe there is some sort of transparency in this whole blockchain thing. Maybe that is beneficial at some capacity.
Well, why not? Like imagine you go to like your barber and he's got a QR code that he accepts Tether. Right? And you're like, hey, can I give you $50 worth of Tether gold instead? And he'd be like, what? Like, why not? Right?
Yeah. But I mean, that goes back to the whole, we could give anybody anything.
Well,
if they
that's
really
why I was
want
kind of
it.
going
Yeah.
to synthetic.
You can transmute it. It's alchemy.
yeah.
You can transmute it into
Ooh, alchemy. I like
magic
that. Yeah.
internet dust.
Yeah.
An interesting factoid here is so on the Wikipedia for Tether, and as we're remembering this, according to comments made in January 2024 by Cantor Fitzgerald CEO Howard Lutnick, look them up about 9/11. That company was acting as custodian for Tether's reserves.
Sorry, which company? That.
Howard
Cantor
Lutnick.
Fitzgerald.
Oh,
okay.
Cantor.
Right. And the founder of Cantor Fitzgerald, Howard Lutnick, is the Commerce Secretary.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And he's one of the biggest mobsters in the country.
Well, again, like cyberpunk future, right? What did you expect to happen?
Yeah, crime is legal. So perfect. Yeah, this is all lining up perfectly. Excellent.
But all the dystopian science fiction, isn't this kind of about right?
I think the Tether is, got better about proving reserves or, being audited in light ways. They've come out of the shadows. I remember that the what became Tether was actually like an asset issued on Mastercoin back in the day. So Mastercoin was experimenting with rudimentary smart contract as a fork, and you could issue other kinds of assets, and later became Omnia or something. But Tether was originally like an asset on there, and no one knew anything about it. It seemed very shady and offshore, and they were making claims that they had more assets under management than seemed possible. And then slowly gets revealed and seems more transparent. So, a lot of people trust it more so than say.
Put your mic.
There.
Yeah.
We're good. All right. Then say like when was that? Like 2015, 2016. But who knows? I haven't undertaken that exercise myself.
Yeah, I do remember Omni, and like that's where it was all issued originally.
But Omni was I'm pretty sure Mastercoin before.
Could have been. Yeah, I thought there was like some sort of issuance or tie that was like anchored to Bitcoin in some capacity too. I thought that was that whole.
They were experimenting with all of this, but there was no way to know that, right? Because nothing about the Mastercoin Omnia was related to didn't have a good like side chain thing.
Right. Well, now it's issued.
Someone check that, because I'm just pulling that from my memory, and it might be distorted.
Yeah, all good. But now Tether, Tron is where most of the. Is that still the true? Like I think Tron is where most of the Tether still lives. We can check on that here. Look at that real time stuff. Imagine if we had we just need an intern. They could just look these things up, and we could have like on the screen, and they could just be doing.
Claude
we need a
bot.
Jamie. We need a Jamie. Yeah. Or a Claude, Jamie Claude.
A Jamie bot.
Yeah,
Jamie.
44%. So 83 billion of USDT is on Tron. Okay, it's like neck and neck with Ethereum right now.
Ooh.
Ethereum is a little bit higher.
a little bit higher. That's because the fees of Ethereum are now so low. We've fixed something, or did we just
Is there
break it
more,
more?
or is there more
We
to
scaled.
do? More to do on Ethereum?
There's more to do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
There's more DeFi.
more DeFi. That's where we trust DeFi.
Can you lend on Tron?
I have no idea. I never touched that thing. I've always been scared of it. But I don't know what's happening over there. But you would think there's got to be like some. Well, I guess what are you borrowing
Payments.
against?
Payments are happening. That's what
Payments. That's really it. Because I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be borrowing against my TRX. Like, oof, that sounds like a bad idea. But, anyways, Ethereum, it's getting cheap. People are coming back. Tron or the Tether is being issued on ETH even more, so that's amazing. We do have that benefit happening on Ethereum. So that just maybe while we're watching all the prices go to zero for crypto, we are seeing like all-time high for transactions, I think, aren't we, on Ethereum and like things happening over there? Were we seeing that? I thought we were seeing like a lot of return to mainnet. Wasn't that a meme that was happening?
Well, but just even that stat's huge. So the most Tether is on ETH, and Tether's higher than it's ever been, I believe, market cap.
It's 181
Jamie
billion
Bot,
or
can you
something.
fact check that?
Yeah.
Which
It
is
has
still
to be,
very
right?
small, which is still very small compared to other institutions or sectors.
Was that the
of
burn
market.
right now? Are we up?
That's
Oh yeah, we're going the wrong
supply.
way. We're going the
Yeah.
wrong way. Yeah, we're just kind of looking at ultrasound.money. Yeah, remember that meme where we were like, "Oh, we're ultrasound." Yeah, it's not working out so
Oh,
hot.
it's really printing right now.
Yeah, so we're actually okay. Let's just we're looking at this is why I wish we had it up here. That'll be in the next iteration. We're gonna have live stream stuff where we can show what we're looking at. So if we look at right now, we're looking at ultrasound.money, and the supply growth is at 0.8% per year.
Based on the last 30 days.
Yep.
Since the merge, it's 0.2% per year.
So 0.2%, and just I know we're
That's over 3 years.
over 3 years, 0.2. So we're gonna say 0.25%, so 0.25% of inflation of new issuance. And so if we look at what's Bitcoin at right now, Bitcoin inflation is like
450 a day. What's that?
percentage, but that's like I can't remember where we're at now. Is it
Jamie?
2% or something? Regardless, it's still the issuance right now is still less than in percentage wise than like what Bitcoin's inflation currently is.
No, it's better to compare it to other proof of stake chain that doesn't have this kind of dynamic relationship, like say Solana or something else, maybe even Tron, like a proof of stake chain that has to pay
Currently,
emissions.
Bitcoin has a higher supply,
Or
higher inflation,
inflation.
rate.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah, but
0.86%.
but the emissions for proof of stake are to bribe people, stakers, right,
Yeah, but
into the future, like extrapolate into the future. So compare it to like something that doesn't have that dynamic relationship in proof of stake, and then you'll find that it's much lower. Like I think Solana tried to vote down from 8% or 7, something like this, and others are even higher. Probably because they're newer and they're at like the first stage of their
bootstrapping
curve,
still.
of their
yeah.
curve. Yeah, they're in their bootstrap cold start phase. So that's a more fair comparison, I think, than something that has been around for a better part of almost 2 decades.
Okay.
Young compared to gold and other shiny bricks.
yeah. I don't know what part of the topic we want to talk about.
So what I was
but
going to say now with
Trying
metals.
to change the topic.
So what did we talk about? Like digital metals. We talked about paper metals, right? Paper was, how we see how that's been a disaster. But now let's talk about digital metals because we've also seen this like big explosion of stocks on chain. We've seen commodities on chain, and maybe you'd be able to help with this a bit more here. Perps or metal perps.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
it's the same thing as paper metal. Like, we're trusting Tether and whatever. Like, it's not. It's cool because you can see how it flows, but I would say that like crypto metals are not that much better than paper metals because it's still held in the vault somewhere. Somebody's issuing it. Like, we're not. It's the exact same process.
Still trust me, bro.
Yeah.
Still a lot of trust me,
Yeah.
bro. Okay.
There's cool like technology. Yes, perps are a new instrument that people can use that you couldn't trade metals with before. I mean, you can. There's other instruments, but
But yeah, but like perps though, we don't need to have anything backing a perp, right? Perp can just exist in like there doesn't need to be.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
There
So
needs
it's a
to be
futures contract.
reliable oracles, I think.
Yeah.
But that's
in
the oracle.
full- in the full perp form and not the price discovery.
Yeah. So what are you using for oracles there then? Because then you're technically. So do we have this then? Let's say with paper gold, we have all these financial institutions that are trading this, and they're trading mostly paper gold, right? So do you have a divergence from paper gold to actual physical gold? And what do you use for your pricing then in like a perpetuals futures? Like, do you keep using that? It's probably you keep using that paper gold because that's where a majority of the volume is. You know how to price it properly. The physical gold, might be.
And you're incentivizing arbitrage to bring
Yeah.
it back into line.
You need other. Yeah, you
Like,
need.
it to float and
yeah.
and head back there.
Interesting, because do we trade two different products? Do we trade paper gold and physical gold
Yeah.
as a perp? Should that is that
Yeah,
almost
maybe.
what it is?
There are perps in different jurisdictions that are at odds. Like
Yeah.
In Asia, it'll have a different price, right?
Yep.
And then
Well, yeah, and you have to figure out how do you price physical gold when you don't use paper gold? Do you have like then you have like tether gold, right? So it's tether's paper gold. You don't necessarily price the physical gold because it is too difficult to move. So you're not like that price is very hard to get and use. So I feel like you start using different paper golds. You have like I don't know, does Fidelity have a gold ETF or whatever? And like you start trading multiple paper golds.
I would send someone to like a market where they're actually trading, physical,
Yeah.
in small amounts, and be like, all right, I'm gonna get the quotes from like what people are yelling, right?
And that's
And I'll
in,
run that through like,
but like
an LLM.
that's also different. Like let's say you're doing that on the streets in New York
Yeah.
versus in Hong Kong.
Yeah. I would
Versus-
want all of them, and then I'd put that into
Aggregate
the
them?
composite.
Uh,
We'll see. And maybe that would get like early signal. I just think that like you'll have a better quality price feed that way.
So rather than having the 5 NM
Yeah.
Rothschild capos around
Yeah.
the table just fixing the daily gold price, you could get 5 different major markets around the world and do an average that way.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think in some places people are still yelling prices to each other. So someone should build that because we can automate it. And I'm giving you that idea. Whoever is industrious.
But aren't they still like basing their prices off the paper gold? Like if you go to a coin dealer here,
Yeah.
right? They're
Yeah.
gonna have their spread percentage,
They
but they're
start
gonna
there.
use the paper gold as their right. They're not gonna be like, well, 10 guys came in this morning wanted to buy, and only 3 want to sell. Therefore, I'm selling. Like,
Well, that's a good question. Where are they
there's a
getting-
premium because the delivery is right there.
Because they're gonna buy new gold based on the paper price, right?
Yeah, but there always probably. I don't expect it to be like wildly divergent, but there surely is a premium because you actually walk away with it.
That's a really good point, though. Like, how do gold dealers price it? Do they use like? I mean, what is the source for gold, the commodity? Like, is there? There must be, I guess, some source there. So
like
maybe
the
there,
people
maybe
actually
there is.
minted into bars and coins and stuff. But
Ye-
they're basing
or-
their price off the paper price, right?
Yeah, or do like these dealers? Do they aggregate together? That could be an interesting
Well, one
product.
interesting thing about gold and silver versus crypto is they close, right? So Friday night until Sunday night, so
the-
48 hours of the week.
I thought you could trade commodities 24/7.
Well, I mean, but the major liquidity, like, yeah,
Yeah,
you can trade Tether Gold 24/7.
Or yeah,
But like the major, like when New York closes on Friday night and until Japan opens on Monday morning in Japan, there's no like if you go to Google Finance, the gold price doesn't update, right?
Yeah.
But
if
if
I'm
you go-
outside Costco on Sunday,
Exactly,
trying to
you can
buy
still
the,
buy
the
it.
bars. Yeah, but I might.
So they
Maybe
like
I should pay
exactly.
more.
So what does like TD Bank? You can go on like a Saturday afternoon, and the price won't be changing. So
Yeah.
clearly they've decided like over the weekend we have this risk tolerance. We'll sell this much gold, and they can buy Tether Gold as like a hedge. Yeah, I think that's what they do because I think like I've listened to some Boomer Silver podcasts, and they have like a limit where they'll stop selling silver on the weekend because it's like exceeded their risk tolerance for like the amount of futures that they have.
Wild. Okay, we need more boomers in here to answer about how boomer markets work because we just know how these like weird on-chain efficient markets that use assets that are just on-chain and tallied.
They're self-contained. They're traded and priced in the same information system.
Again, in terms of the hub of the gold, paper gold, I would look once again to HSBC because they were the ones behind the GLD, whereas JPMC was behind SLV, the paper silver. So that's in terms of the historical record, that's very clear. Another thing is that Scotiabank Macata is one of the bullion banks that was who had a representative around the NM Rothschild table in the City of London. So that's one of the bullion banks involved in the daily price fix. I don't know exactly how they modified that since that was exposed, but I would imagine something very similar is happening just under the surface. I don't know exactly how they kind of covered their tracks, but I presume it's the same people majorly behind it, except for the Russian and Chinese government having gone very much against the Rothschild diktats in a lot of ways as well, which is why they're the Dr. Evils and stuff.
Well, they're stockpiling it, like physical gold, as I understand.
Yeah, it looks like the spot price of gold is set continuously by trading among large banks and institutions in the London bullion market, coordinated by the London Bullion Market Association. But price discovery usually happens in futures markets.
Yeah, in terms of the that class action lawsuit that was targeting LBMA in London for the gold price fixing, and then it was targeting the COMEX in the United States for the silver price fixing. So it's basically a parallel criminal operation between London and New York.
But
Nice.
can we say that like ended or no? It was exposed, but like when did we get the
Maybe it's ending right
Well,
now.
that's
why
basically
gold's-
why the prices are skyrocketing because it's unfolding. You know, that leveraging has been so massively exposed. The cat's out of the bag, and investors who are in the know are basically making a rush for physical. So I only see the prices going up personally.
Okay, so this
Crazy.
is the wrong.
So do we got 10K gold? Is that where we're headed? We're going to 10K?
Oh, higher than that, I think.
Higher than
That's only
that?
a
You've
2X.
heard it here
It's only
first.
getting
It's
started.
only a
That's
2.
only a 2x. You
Only a
can't
2x.
feed your family on that.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and basically, the corporate U.S. government is going to be forced to do a revaluation of the Federal Reserve fraud note at some point, and obviously they're going to, with the people involved in that, they're going to attempt to steal as much in terms of real assets from long-suffering Americans and others as possible, and they're going to just do a reevaluation of the currency, and they're going to try to sell that, with their snake oil and that sort of thing, and hopefully enough people will be wise enough to say, screw that. No, that's
Self-custody?
not acceptable.
Are you getting to self-custody?
Self-custody of my dollars?
No.
So do
No,
we
no, no.
invest in safes?
No. Self-custody of bearer assets.
Bearer assets.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're going to take delivery of your gold. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, Bitcoin, I think.
Oh, Bitcoin. Yeah. Okay.
What I was getting at.
Yep.
Bringing it back to Bitcoin.
There we
It
go.
was just like, all right, yeah, there are all these problems. You can ride this, repricing and this bubble, but what has superior,
It-
properties?
It doesn't really seem like people are caring though. Like, wouldn't it have
Then
pumped?
Yes.
It's
but
a long game.
I like to feel early. It's like you get to feel early again because they don't get it. They don't get it that it has, superior properties. Everything you want from store value, currency, what have you.
Yeah.
Compute credit.
A lot of people are just wanting an honest ledger, and so a cryptocurrency that has the ability to develop that on the most effective, efficient, large scale, that sort of thing, has phenomenal long-term potential. And so, basically,
Now you're talking.
yeah. So I think I agree with the long game and that sort of thing. I think it's really good for Bitcoin, Ethereum, other really well thought out cryptocurrencies over the long term, that sort of thing. And the ones which are fraudulent or compromised, that sort of thing, or that's going to come out in the wash, over the long term. Whereas the most robust ones are going to survive and be, really effective in commerce, because at the end of the day, it's about smart contracts. It's about people want honest commerce, that sort of thing. We've had an avalanche of fraud all around the world on so many different levels, and I think a lot of people are sick of it.
Yeah.
That reminds me. I'll let you finish and say, but that reminds me of the other Ethereum marketing pivot, which hasn't been as widespread as the ultrasound money, is calling it trustware, which I thought was very
Trustware?
good. Yeah, trustware.
What?
Yeah.
Where's? I have not seen this campaign.
No, but just
Trustware.
all right. So like, yes, but hear me out. It's because Bitcoin has a very simple value prop that is easy to understand, and then when they tried to pitch Ethereum, they were like, all right, so this is digital gold, store of value, right? Like fixed supply. And then they're like, oh, Ethereum's digital silver. Is like, no, not even close. It's not even in the same category. So what? How do you, in a pithy way, how do you pitch it, right? And it allows you to trust. It has all these negative properties, like it's non-censoring. All these negative things are absent from it. It's trustless, right? So Trustware it's a platform where you build trustware, where you build applications that hook into something that you can trust and audit and is transparent. And that's the pitch.
So not the world supercomputer.
No, because people
No.
don't understand, what the world computer implies at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, what can it do?
It
for
took me a decade to get it.
Yeah, what can it do for me? It's like if you don't already value like computers or compute or things like that, then you've or it just didn't work. I don't know. We're coming up with like post hoc justifications. But I like Trustware. Anyways, over
What
to you,
about
sir.
trust layer of the internet? Or they've already tried that.
That's like too many words.
Mm.
Yeah. But it is good. It is accurate. Like
Okay. So that made me think of a few things. So
I'm glad.
yeah. So it probably it is a very critical time, I would say, for crypto. Then, if we see from these other countries where you get hyperinflation, a lot of El Salvador switching to using Bitcoin a lot, right? So maybe this is a moment for everybody, because everybody uses USD. But it's quite an opportunity for people to get in. I mean, stable coins were a great way to get people in initially, and now if people are like, oh well, fuck, I don't want to buy or I don't want to hold USD, and then I don't want to hold paper gold if they can't hold up that trust, right? So then yes, it is kind of a deduction, and it's like, okay, maybe I do have to use crypto, and I'm not gonna hold stable coins anymore. So what am I going to use? And like, oh, I could hold some Bitcoin. But if I want more generic ledger to be able to use for other things, maybe I do end up using Ethereum, or we'll see. I don't know. But yeah, it is kind of like a path of deduction for what currency suits people.
Yeah. Do we end up though bringing like this? Now we're starting to talk about like RWA stuff, like real world assets that we're going to start using too, right? What if we did that? What if we brought those on chain? So
Not
that's what we're-
necessarily.
Oh, okay. So how do I want my gold, right? But I'm like, okay, I don't want to deal with that anymore. And I'm thinking I want to have gold. I want to have gold exposure right now. But then
Well,
I want
it's
to be
gonna
able to
be-
go to something else right away. How am I going from physical gold to crypto? That sounds like a disaster.
Yes.
Yeah, but how do I go from digital on-chain gold, like let's call that, even whether it's XA,
Right, but this
XAUT.
is paper gold again, right?
It is, but at least I can go in and out of paper gold 24/7 at the instant that I want. So when I feel I don't feel any, I feel like the paper standard, let's call it,
Yeah.
is broken, and I'm like, I want out. It's very different where, if you're holding some stocks, for example, and that
Yeah.
company has like some shit show overnight, and you're like, I got to wait till morning to do anything with this, and then it's already opening, 50% lower, and you just got completely wrecked. right?
Yeah.
Whereas the moment something happens, if you don't feel safe with it, or you're, oh, we're seeing that Tether is insolvent or whatever, you have the ability to still get out before the rest of the market is able to price it in.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I think that
Yeah.
the smarter trader is going to get out before you, and
Okay,
it's just
but at least
that
you still have it,
in,
right? Whereas, like, if you,
Yeah,
I
sure,
guess it's like more
sure.
the custody side of it. Maybe I am just like hopium, and then you could be first or whatever. But the fact is that like there's still pools available for you to exit.
Yeah.
Whereas like a broker might just say, no, we're not going to give it to you.
Yeah.
At least you have custody of that IOU or whatever. And then we move it into other, maybe we're moving it into on-chain assets like, on-chain issued, let's call it, just Bitcoin, ETH, whatever, or stablecoins.
Native asset.
Native assets. There, sorry, I don't know why that took me so long to figure out. You move it into native assets, or maybe it is stable with, in a yield-bearing stable of some type, right? That's in a vault or a, whatever it needs to be. I don't know. I just think this physical stuff is like such a, I don't know. I can't haul that much silver or copper around with me. That seems like not a very fun way to exit a country with like a pile of copper. Sounds really, really tricky. But
they tried to make them into little, collectibles that are, fun, and they have like, history on them. And
they
things
got
like
a head?
that.
Is there a head on them
exactly.
too? Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They tried that, and I don't know.
Got rid of it.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, said no, can't have that. No little fun collectibles. They're kind of funny looking, really small. Kind of, they weren't worth much.
Oh no, they're always alloys too.
Tungsten.
Is that what they were? They ended up.
No,
I
They
don't
got,
know.
they got
Peter
diluted,
Schiff had
diluted
that
right out
foldable
from under
gold,
you.
right? He was selling. He had
Yeah.
these kind of these little gold wafers, and you could kind of fold them and cut off these little bits. Peter Schiff was selling those, right? You
Oh,
remember that?
jeez. Okay. No, I
But
don't know.
anyway, I'm not so much a fan of Schiffs, but a really major factor is going to be what's happening with mining now. Because of the increased price, that's going to create a massive incentive. It is creating massive incentive for gold and silver mining companies, some of which are legitimate, some of which are fraudulent. So that's going to happen. Another big aspect is the actual how much there is, and the audits, that sort of thing. We have these central banks claiming they have so much and so on, and these kind of national nations with their treasuries claiming they have so much. How trustworthy are the audits, first of all? And another thing, if I were to guess where the major holders of gold from the dynastic families going back to perhaps probably the Roman Empire, the most logical hypothesis would be Switzerland, which is home of all the kind of central bankers, the Vatican, the Vatican Guard or whatever, the Swiss Guard, the Vatican, and just the hub of the whole globalist agenda, basically. Davos, the Bank of International Settlements, the United Nations in Geneva, and so on, and so the WF, and so on and so on and so forth. So clearly, that's the hub, and the dynastic families have put it there because it's up in the mountains. It's a storehouse. They can have it underground. Every Swiss citizen
I've
is
got it.
armed.
We mined it and smelted and processed just to to make it into nice bricks again, and then we buried it.
Yeah.
And then we reburied it.
Yeah.
To back to where once
It's
it
a lot,
came.
like now I'm even more bearish on them.
Well, and then what happens when we get to the asteroids and we mine the gold on the
Shiny
asteroids?
brick that no one can appreciate because it was
Yeah.
only on the surface for a little bit.
Good point. Good point.
Think
Anyway,
about it, people.
yeah.
But their big factor is that silver is much more in demand as an industrial metal. So, whereas gold is valued for its imperishable quality, basically. So that's really traditionally going a little bit esoteric. I kind of intuited on my own that basically gold is a representative of the sun, whereas silver is a representative of the
The
moon.
moon. Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was a huge arbitrage going on traditionally along the Great Silk Road, because in the West there was gold was much more prized, whereas in the East silver was much more prized. So that's a huge part of the relationship between.
Even the calendars, like the lunar calendar versus
Yeah.
the Europeans use the solar calendar.
It's a big deal.
Both are somewhat important for electronics, but I think silver much more. And then
Silver physically,
copper-
in terms of price, I see silver skyrocketing at
and
a
copper as like
more
a
so.
substitute, but costlier to switch the supply chain over to.
So silver up, gold up.
It sounds,
copper.
it sounds dumb, but
Yeah.
you should probably just go out on the tail to the periodic table and
There's platinum.
That's the new
platinum
coin
big.
market.
we
anything
find?
you
Yeah.
can't pronounce.
Californium.
Oh,
Well, we
yeah.
did hear that uranium was the next thing we're hearing. It's in vogue. We have uranium.
Yeah,
so
well, that produces energy for longer than you'll be alive. So
yeah,
seems pretty cool. And then you can use
Right.
that to power your your Bitcoin mining operation. So
yeah. Actually,
how
it's-
cool would that be?
Well, is it cool for Bitcoin though? So here's something we were kind of was talking to some guy in Buenos Aires, and he was working for a Bitcoin mining company. And now with this big rise of AI and everything, Bitcoin miners have access to a lot of energy. And he was saying that AI companies have now approached him or approached their mining companies that, hey, you guys have all this energy, we need it so that we can process our AI powered plants and whatnot. And they said, here is what we'll give you for your energy. So not only do they don't have to use any mining gear, they are just literally saying, we have access to this energy. We are going to give this energy to someone else to go run all of their own equipment. They have no overhead. They're literally just selling the energy contract. And he said that, quote, it is not even close to what they were going to get from the cost of just giving the power to an AI company or whatever it was versus having to actually go out there and mine Bitcoin. I immediately created a prediction market for him for the hash rate power, and I mean I think hash rate is down tremendously right now.
Well, there was a big winter storm. That's like a short-term, 1 week,
Short-term
2 week
thing.
thing.
Sure.
But what happens when hash rate comes down is that the difficulty adjustment kicks in, right? So
But less demand for less hash rate, less demand. The difficulty pops in, but or the difficulty decreases.
decreases, right? And that incentivizes new participants theoretically into like smaller, right? So it's
Right, but at the end of the day, if you're a miner, the idea is to be profitable, right? So
Yeah.
at some point, it's like, well, I still believe in this asset long term, or wait a sec, I can sell off portion of my energy to just get paid to mine, and I can get the capital up front, and I just go buy Bitcoin. And that's always been like, kind of my where I ended up at was just like, oh, I would have been 10x better to have not bothered mining and pissing around with all these,
yeah. I'm
it
just
would
saying it
depreciate.
is a dynamic relationship, and in theory, it can go low enough that it incentivizes innovation there and smaller operators, and
sure.
they do it for time and then they pass it along. So it's like this kind of rotational.
Mm-hmm. But I think
Or it's like a what do we call it when the generation takes over, like succession, right? Like
sure.
a new generation of miners is created by this theoretically, but again, it hasn't been around long enough to see that actually play out
No, and I mean, but this is the first time I think we've seen.
with ASICs at least.
Well, yeah, but even just energy, right? Like we saw, okay, well, it's no longer profitable to use GPUs to mine. So then we went to this other stuff, right? Because you still had like mining with
Yeah.
Ethereum, and that was still like when,
Yeah.
there was still, oh, well, I'll go mine Ethereum instead, right? And so we had that whole thing until the proof of stake movement. But we haven't seen something where it's like, oh, this energy is actually better used somewhere else. And like AI, now we can go boil, like nobody cares about the boiling the oceans anymore because AI is here. And, a lot of people that are maybe more on the, trying to be on the
Well-
climate side are like, well, it's okay we boiling the oceans now because we're using AI and it's actually useful. So it's okay. We don't care about that anymore. But that whole narrative
Yeah.
is dead. Like I haven't heard anybody really
It-
boiling the oceans, and anybody that does
The-
will just say,
the-
are you familiar with AI?
It seems like they think that well, there could be a limit to hyperscaling, right, where it just becomes more efficient, or you create AGI and it solves every other problem.
Sure, I guess. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, though,
I think that's what they're thinking, though.
Okay. But at the end of the day, hash rate, I think, has generally been correlated to price. The more hash rate, generally the higher the price, I think. That's kind of how it's been. the price goes down. That's the other thing. So then the price goes down because there's less people are interested in hashing. So there's a lot of variables in place, but this is a new big one that is actually saying, hey, wait, I don't actually have to mine. I could just go buy it, or I can do something else. I can go buy gold with it if I really wanted to, or I can go buy ETH with that power instead.
It is an interesting development.
I think sometimes in the Bitcoin world and probably the ETH world, we get ourselves into trouble with these like narratives, right? Like the hash price goes up, so the hash is going up, the mining is going up. This has to be good. So this is great. Look, everyone loves Bitcoin. Look at this hash, right? And then the hash starts going down. Well, then we just pivot to a new narrative. Like we had too much hash anyway. There was an excess hash. Which is actually like jokes aside, is kind of my opinion. Like there was way more hash than we really need.
That's a bit how the price works. It's like the price changes, and then we come up with a
new story.
justification. Yeah, a new story about like why this happened, or like
So why are we at $82,000 and 27.5 or 28,000?
we have to tell the story about why it's like garbage now, and like metals are better.
Why it's garbage now.
What we're doing, which is what we're doing, and then tomorrow, if you wake up and it doubled, you'd be like, it's the best. It's
Best asset going. Here we go. Okay. More on as we were talking about Bitcoin stuff, and we're bringing this back to Ethereum. There's 2 days ago it was when it first. I don't know if anybody's familiar. Who here has heard of or used Cetrea? No. Okay. So it's
I don't even know.
So basically the first Bitcoin or ZK roll
Basically, it's like the Family Guy meme with the Noah's Ark and the elephant. You guys can fill in the rest.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what I'm talking about. It's a hybrid.
He's an awkward hybrid.
It's
He's
an
like,
awkward
what the hell is
hybrid.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the duck-billed platypus of crypto. It's an EVM compatible virtual machine on Bitcoin.
There you go. So basically, it's ZK rollup. So it's like it's sending the proof back to Bitcoin to say, hey, this is like valid, and that's where it's stored. Like does consensus basically. The execution environment is just its own EVM environment. So it's a rollup, and so it's literally just pushing data. So I guess it runs a sequencer. No, wait. No, it uses an operator.
It's just magic.
Has a bunch. It's just magic. Has a bunch of signers, I believe, that are kind of like and then it's also
you need guardians of some kind.
You need
usually,
guardians
right?
and stuff. Anyway, the end of the day, we've actually
Well, the user experience looks like Ethereum. Right?
Yes, very much. You're
so
using
you sign in with your Ethereum wallet. It's you use the same smart contracts.
And speaking of smart contracts,
yeah, I created my first EVM smart contract today ever.
Hey!
Thank you. On Cetrea.
Nice.
And it's a Bepsi coin, which I'm sure you're familiar with the Bepsi machine as you're here. So we're pleased to be adding the Bepsi ecosystem to
expanding.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, any platform will take it. We don't. It's not necessarily an endorsement. It's research and development.
R&D.
What is your Bepsi coin backed by, sir?
By Claude Code.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like soda pop and
Yeah. One Bepsi
is one can of pop.
There you go. See,
Yeah.
Damn.
So there's a real backing behind it here. So we gonna.
But there's no audit.
like X.
There's no supply audit.
aluminum can, which
Yeah.
is has a deposit associated with it. Damn,
Yeah.
that's actually like
Actually, that would be pretty lit. If it's like how many cans are in the system, because like there's maybe a way that we could do that somehow.
Yeah,
and
really
then that's like
short
always
cola over here.
short cola. But then we could have
I
like,
owe way more cans of pop than I have.
but yeah, we could literally have a supply of like a.
Sir, you've invented the physical metal crypto hybrid.
Oh my God, we've done it, and it all happened in the basement
it
with
live.
the
You just
Pepsi
did it live.
machine.
You just did
You
it
put
live.
a gold bar in, it mints something on chain. You take a gold bar out, it burns it. Like,
We're gonna need more aluminum.
good God. Yeah, we need more aluminum. Yeah, more aluminum for all these cans. Anyhow, if anybody here is wanting to try it, we're happy. We think that
We'll find out.
we'll find out because we just pushed it live, and just before we started the stream, and Cetrea might have been down for 20 minutes. We're not sure. We saw the Explorer just stopping, so we're just gonna put that on record that we may have seen Cetrea actually stop, but I mean, it seems like I was just checking the Explorer now, and like transactions are going through relatively quick. So we're gonna try it afterwards. We're gonna actually.
It's just day 2 for Citrea.
It's right. It's early. It's early, and it's just mainnet. It's fresh. You know, we gotta. You know,
We're burning it in.
yeah. There it is. There it is. So looks like it's working. We're gonna test it out. We're gonna get some Bepsi's out of there, and yeah, we're expanding the Bepsi ecosystem. How many? Where do we have it now? It's on a bunch of the Bitcoin chains. It's on. So yeah, Lightning and Liquid and or no, do we have it on
Oh,
Liquid?
you can
tonight?
immediately like bridge it to other
No,
ones?
no,
No, we haven't gotten there yet.
Oh, no,
All
sir.
all
That
the
would
All
be
fragmented
No.
liquidity.
Okay.
What's that? Oh yeah, so we have
simultaneous
We got a
launch.
lot.
well, okay, so we basically are using like USDC on Base, Optimism, Polygon, Arbitrum, Hyper EVM. We have USDT 0 on Hyper EVM, and then we've got Bepsi on Hyper EVM and Citrea.
That's Solana.
Oh, so USDC on Solana too. Yeah, so if you want to use Solana,
And then there's the other UI, but
And then we have Bitcoin Layer 1,
Oh.
Lightning, Spark, and Arcade OS.
damn. So and those all have Bepsi as well. Bepsi token. You can use Bepsi on those. Oh wait, not Arcade because they don't have a token.
Lightning and Spark both have a
Both have-
Pepsi token.
Yeah. So it's
That's
I mean
quite
this
the
is-
launch, boys.
There it is. This is just cutting edge innovation happening here in the basement with the Bepsi machine. Bullish on aluminum is really where we're at. Hey, bullish
Sugar.
on aluminum. That's the
And
next thing.
sugar.
Yeah. Aluminum and sugar. Actually, half of these things are like zero sugar. Actually, like
My
think
God.
about
Yeah.
poppies. Think about Zevias. Think about bubblies.
Think about the commodities, sir.
I mean, we did actually bring back real Coke. Real Coca-Cola
yeah.
Classic is in
Oh,
the
that's what
machine
I'm
now.
talking.
So that's right. We have Coca-Cola in the Bepsi. Yes.
Is there an arbitrage opportunity to do the Pepsi challenge, the Bepsi challenge?
What's
Coke Pepsis? Or
what? Oh, interesting. Yeah, to say which one is which, and then we start throwing in like other sodas in there. I don't know. I am not sure. Okay. Maybe this is a great. Let's see how long we've all been on here for over an hour now. Okay. So any questions, any comments, questions, concerns from the audience, or anything that we want?
Is anyone more likely to buy silver or gold now? after
Yeah,
this
who's buying
panel?
silver and gold now? Nobody. Nobody's buying silver. Oh, maybe a little bit here. Okay, he's gonna buy. He's yeah.
See me
then
after
it
the show,
doesn't
please,
count
sir.
as
You know, there's a dip.
advice.
Like the gist was right now is not a good time to be buying them. We're kind of like seeing crazy mania right now. So what I was hearing
Not
was
according to this guy. He's bullish.
He's bullish. Yeah. Well, but think about like, I mean, maybe we're just too like PTSD'd with this, where it's like, oh, we just look at all these meme coins or shit coins that have come along, and it's like, oh wow, okay, it's pumped. But like, think about those things where it's like, oh well, it's already 4 or 5x. We should probably just leave that alone, and then it runs another 10x, and you're like, what the hell happened? And like, these things are trading like shit coins right now, like
Yeah.
silver, like it's insane. So.
Yeah. I was gonna say,
Yeah, leverage.
what's the risk? Risk reward. Like,
Yeah. I
if
don't
it
know.
already goes 5x and it's
Got
a
another-
meme coin, like or it's like the biggest meme, like a 5,000-year-old meme, like gold,
Yeah.
gold. Then then
Yeah.
Has
it's
anybody
different calculus.
been in the trenches looking at some of the meme coins coming out of this new
I just
this
see
new
things-
this new meta?
No, but tell us, sir.
Yeah.
There's one that was pumping pretty hard today. Somebody found a mineral that is called Coming Tonight.
There you go. There you go.
And that has been ripping on Pump.
Yeah, naturally.
Excuse
I
me.
did see some stuff from like Kobe was talking about Copper Inu, and then it happened, and then I think Copper Inu took off, and then he was like said we need to do a case study on people who want to launch the shitcoin toothpaste, because I just literally said toothpaste, and now people are making a coin called toothpaste. So I'm sure toothpaste ran as well. I didn't look at it, but I'm sure it few X'd anyways, just because
There's some wins out there. Some wins out there.
like your-
it's a dark
I
place
liked
right
more
now,
the,
but
the rare earth that you mentioned there.
Boy.
Again, maybe you need to buy the periodic table.
Yeah, there's always money in the banana stand. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else? Comments, questions, concerns?
Pet peeves.
Yeah, pet peeves. You want to own more
Yeah,
assets.
you probably should do that.
We need more assets. Okay. Anything else?
Health is an
No.
asset. Happiness,
Health is a job. Yeah.
love, family.
Diversify. Okay. All right. Well, if nothing else from there, I think this is a fantastic place to roll this all together to an end. Yeah, I guess we're maybe buying metals. We're not sure. I don't think we've come any closer to any kind of anything at this point. But yeah, if you've got your metals, I guess hang on to them. Make sure you're doing some sort of secure.
Polish them.
I guess you guess, yeah. But make sure, just like we have cold storage with our magical internet beans, we also probably have some sort of like storage plan for your metals. I don't know. Like if you put them in a safety deposit box, like the bank has custody of it. Like I don't know. Not sure if that's the best way to do it. Not accessible 24/7. Anyways, it's worked for years. Probably will still work until they deny you access into the bank, but whatever. Yeah, or just make sure you got a safe or something, bolt it to the ground, I guess, if you're good at that. I don't know. I don't know what else to really say there, but take custody of your assets. Get rid of paper gold. That's what we learned today. We learned that no more paper gold. Paper gold out. Physical in. I wonder if paper Bitcoin is still okay, or is that paper Bitcoin summer's done? That's over. We lost paper Bitcoin summer and paper ETH. Tom Lee, come on.
Well,
Tom.
I've heard
It's
some
a good run.
I've heard some hopium Bitcoiners that the silver market, paper silver is going to crash, paper gold's going to crash, and then people are going to realize, oh, paper Bitcoin, and they're going to self-custody. But I personally don't take it that way. I mean, like I guess maybe more realistically, and we were winding things down, but is it possible that this is like good marketing for Bitcoin and crypto in the long run that's going to introduce more like hard money principles? Like the Zoomers, maybe? Maybe the Zoomers are going to look at the price of gold and start getting educated, start listening to Schiff, and then they'll hear the word Bitcoin.
Maybe.
I think that they're more inclined to it, but first, boomers, like everyone with the actual wealth and assets, needs to, pass them along, and leave that as an exercise to everyone else, like how that actually happens.
All right. Let's wrap it up.
Succession, generational succession.
Generational succession. Okay.
Fourth turning.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. Remember, next week over at Global Relay, there will be a kind of the happy hour. There'll be a bunch of different ecosystems there too. A bunch of new people, new faces, nice mixer, drinks, dinner. Yes, yeah, drinks and food, snacks. Yes, winning. So it's gonna be a magical time, and show up for that. And all right. If you don't mind, fold up your chairs. Feel free to hang out for a little bit, and we'll see you all.